Well, thank you very much, everybody. I greatly appreciate it. Nice to have you all at Trump International. It's been a great club and a great success, and we appreciate it. Have so many of our members. It's beautiful. It's been an amazing night, and I'll tell you what, I've been in competitions all of my life. There is nothing so exciting as this stuff. Nothing. Winning deals or winning club championships or whatever you want to say, there's nothing like this. It's really exciting stuff and very important. Above all else, it's very, very important. So I want to thank the people of Louisiana and the people of Kentucky. It's been just an amazing relationship. Amazing relationship. And Rand Paul, your senator in Kentucky, fought very, very hard today and for the last number of weeks, fighting us every inch of the way. And we won by quite a few votes, so I'm very, very happy about it. So thank you to Louisiana, and thank you to Kentucky. I want to really thank the folks from Maine and from Kansas. We came in second, and we really didn't spend very much time. We spent 2 hours in one place and 2.5 hours in the other, and we came in with a strong second. So I want to thank those folks, and I want to congratulate Ted on Maine and on Kansas, and he should do well in Maine because it's very close to Canada, let's face it. I mean, a lot of truth. I think Marco Rubio had a very, very bad night, and personally, I'd call for him to drop out of the race. I think it's time now that he drop out of the race. I really think so. I think it's probably time. You know, I don't think tonight he can get up and rant and rave and, oh, he did great, he comes in third, he comes in fourth. Every time he comes in third or fourth, he says, you got to be able to win. And he has not been able to win, and I think it's time that he drops out. I would love to take on Ted one-on-one. That would be so much fun, because Ted can't win New York, he can't win New Jersey, he can't win Pennsylvania, he can't win California. I want Ted one-on-one, okay? So I think one of the reasons we did so well tonight and so strong is that we really had a good debate. I think we did very well. I was hit from every side, every angle that you could be hit from, very viciously actually, but I think we did very well in the debate. I do say this, we're marching along, and I think we're doing very well in Florida. Today I was in Orlando. We had a group of at least 20,000 people. We had to send 10,000 people away. The place was packed, and it was an amazing day, and I love the people of Florida. It's my second home. We're in Florida tonight. And I just want to thank Florida for being, it's just incredible. And I'm looking at the poll numbers. Even though I've never seen any human being hit with more negative commercials than I'm being hit with, I have to tell you. No human being should have to have $40 million spent on negative commercials. And despite that, we have a tremendous lead in Florida, and hopefully we're going to do very well. I think we're going to do very well in Ohio. I worked when I was a young guy at Swifton Village in Cincinnati, and I think that we're going to do fantastically in Ohio. I love that state. I love the people of the state. So hopefully we're going to do very well there. The biggest story in all of politics isn't even what's happening tonight and on Super Tuesday, but the biggest story is the tremendous outpouring of voters coming into the Republican Party. You're seeing what's happening. Millions and millions of people are coming in and voting, and they've never seen anything like it before. Actually, they're doing covers on Time magazine because it's a movement. What's happening is a movement. And I'm very honored to say that if I were not involved, that wouldn't be happening. Well, I'm only kidding. Actually, I'm not kidding, but I'll say I'm kidding because I want them to say I'm a nice person. But you're talking about millions and millions of people, and we have a dynamic party, and as a party, we should come together and stop this foolishness. We have something, and I was thinking about it today for the first time. The establishment is very unhappy with the way things are going, and I can understand that, although I used to be part of the establishment. 7 months ago, before I decided to run, I was part of the establishment. But now I'm not part of the establishment. Once I announced I was running, they said, what's he doing? Why is he running? He's not supposed to be running. We want people that we can control. We want people that we can give money to, so that if we want something for pharmaceuticals or for electric or for utilities or for lumber or for oil and gas, we have total control over our senator or our congressman. So, you know, I'm self-funding. I'm not taking their money. They have no control. I'm going to do what's right for the American people, and that's very simple. So they're not happy. But I was thinking today, because I love the Republican Party, and I love the conservatives, and I love a lot of people that are very good friends of mine, and I've been a member for a long time. But today I was thinking, for the first time, really thinking about this. We lost a great man, Justice Scalia. He needs to be replaced, and you can only replace him with somebody truly great. He can never be replaced. He was really something. A very, very good friend of my sister, who's a federal judge, or the Court of Appeals, and highly respected. And that was totally unexpected. It just shows what happens, totally unexpected. So we have a situation where they're now saying, well, maybe we're not going to be able to beat Trump the normal way, so we'll run a third-party candidate. And maybe we can't get on all the states. We'll do enough that it's impossible for Donald Trump to win. And I'm saying, what are they doing? Because we're going to appoint a conservative, great judge, high intellect, very conservative, something that will make the people in the Republican Party very happy, someone that will make the people very happy. If they run a third party, or an independent party, if they do that, it will make it impossible for the Republican candidate, on the assumption it's me or anybody, to win. If that means losing, that means that Hillary Clinton, who should not be allowed to run because of what she did with the emails, should not be allowed to run. But on the assumption that they did that, it would be impossible for the Republican to win, and obviously the independent or third party could not win. So the Democrats would have an absolute free run. Probably you wouldn't even campaign because it would be impossible to win. And what does that mean? That means that automatically they are going to appoint very, very, very liberal judges. And all of this time that the Republicans are fighting, saying that we don't want President Obama to appoint the judge, it's not going to matter, because the new president, who would be a Democrat, will appoint the judge, so it no longer matters. And you're probably talking about, because it just seems to be, the appointment of 3, 4, or 5 Supreme Court judges. And you got to start thinking about that, folks, because anybody that does a third party, that's what it's going to mean. Very simple. It guarantees, 100% guarantees the election of the Democrat. That means the appointment of Supreme Court judges, 3, 4, or 5. That is a total wipeout for conservatives and for Republicans. So start thinking about that. Start thinking about it. This was just an exciting time. I'm having a lot of fun. I have to tell you that Ted, I was watching him, and congratulations on the 2 states, Ted, but he was saying that Donald Trump has a ceiling of 35 to 40%. Well, CNN just came out with a poll 2 days ago that said I have 49% compared to his 15%. So I guess it's not 40. I mean, I have a 49% number. Some of the polls are showing over 50%, and I don't even think they're accurate. I've won many polls, as you know, against Hillary Clinton directly, and I'm the only one that's going to beat her, if she's allowed to run. I'm the only one that's going to beat her. And the only one, remember that. And I am the one person, trust me, that she does not want to run against. Now, we only had one little skirmish, and that was 4 weeks ago, and that was not pleasant for her and Bill. But I'm the one person. And you know, I'm really ashamed of the press because they got it wrong. They didn't give me any credit when she went like this. Do you remember when she was beating Bernie easily? And then 4 weeks ago, all of a sudden, Bernie was doing great. You know why? because she went down. You know why? Because of my skirmish. And I got no credit. Please give me some credit for that, okay? So I look forward to that race. And again, I haven't really done anything with Hillary. We haven't started on Hillary except for the one moment 4 weeks ago. But I think we're going to have something that's really great. You know, I heard Hillary today, and I watched her statement tonight. And her statement is, make America whole. That's a terrible statement. Make America whole. I think she means we're in a hole, we're in a deep hole, and we're trying to dig our way out. We owe $19 trillion. And if that's the kind of promotional ability we have on the other side, our country's in big trouble. Make America whole. No, make America great again. That's what mine is. Make America great again. Okay? So, again, this has been a very exciting evening. And again, I just have to thank the people of Louisiana, the people of Kentucky. You're amazing, and I will never, ever forget it. I was in Louisiana last night. And we had a group of people in an airplane hangar, this massive hangar, and you couldn't even get them in. This was a seriously big hangar for very, very big planes. And I landed, got out, walked into the hangar. There were thousands and thousands of people, and it was incredible. And the same thing a few days ago in Kentucky. We had a rally that was incredible. And today's rally in Orlando, Florida, was nobody's seen anything like it. And they're writing about it. They're saying they've never seen anything like it. In the history of politics in this country, they have never seen anything like it. And it was so reported even in the New York Times today on the front page. People have never, ever seen anything like it in the history of politics in the United States. It's a movement. So I just want to thank all of my friends, all of my members, all of my everything. You have been so supportive, so great. And you're very, very special people. Thank you. And with that, if you'd like, you know the press is among the most dishonest people ever created by God. So I would love to take a few questions from these dishonest people. Go ahead, press. No. John Scarpa, everybody. Okay, if I can do it, I'll do it, John. John Scarpa, everybody. Thank you, John. If I can do it, I'll do it. Yes, sir, go ahead. I love you as a reporter. Where are you? Where have you been? This is the greatest guy. Lion Ted. I call him Lion Ted. He holds up the Bible and then he puts it down and he lies. Okay, Lion Ted. I never saw a man that lied as much. Now, Lion Ted, no, what he did to Ben Carson was a disgrace. And actually me, because had he not gotten those Ben Carson votes, I would have won Iowa too. I would have had everything. So, no, Ted was, and what he did, frankly, when he did voter violation on a form that looked like it came right out of a government agency, voter violation. And the only way you get rid of the violation, essentially, is by voting and going and voting for Ted Cruz. Did you ever see this? And people did that because they were afraid. It was terrible. It was a very fraudulent thing, and he's done a lot of bad things. So Ben Carson's a great guy. He's a great, great guy, and I thought that was a disgrace, what he did to... He said, basically, that Ben Carson's out of the race. Come on, vote for me. And he knew it was happening, so one of those things. But I do think this. I do think that Ted is at least moving along okay. But Marco has to get out of the race. Has to. Because despite what Ted said, oh, do I want to run against just Ted. That will be easy. Okay, David, go ahead. Yeah. Well, I've made it very, very strong. We have policy on it, and I've said it very, very strongly. And I think you know it. And it's all done, and I mean, how many times do I have to say it? It's like David. It's like, as an example, what is my position on 900 different things? I've said it 150 times. We're not here for discussing that, but everybody knows how I feel on it. Question. David, sit down, please. Sit down. David, sit down. You know my position. Yes, go ahead. Yes, John, go ahead. It's what it should be, because we're the only two that are winning. By the way, he keeps saying about, I am the one that beats Donald Trump. Well, I've been beating him almost 3-1. And on Super Tuesday, I got 1 million votes more than Marco and 500,000 votes more than Ted. That's a lot of votes. Okay, go ahead, John. Oh, he'll not win. No, he's not going to win. He's not going to win. And he's not going to win. You know what? He can't win. And he's not going to win something else. First of all, I'd love to have a head-to-head matchup with him in Florida, as an example, and Ohio. But in New York, he's not going to get very many votes. In New Jersey, in Pennsylvania, in Ohio, he's just not going to get very many votes. So I would like to see it. I mean, I would like Marco to drop out from the standpoint that I think Marco, now look at how he did tonight. He's in third and fourth. And somebody was nice enough to say that even when I don't win a state, I always come in second. That's a big thing. Marco's coming fourth. So I think it's time for Marco to clean the deck. I do. And I say that respectfully. Yeah, because I wanted to go, and Matt's a great guy, but look, I wanted to go to Kansas. I felt I had an obligation. I did fairly well in Kansas, considering I spent, literally an hour there, a very small time. But I wanted to go to Kansas to campaign. I've been to CPAC from the beginning. I've liked it. I respect the people at CPAC. I respect Matt a great deal. I hated to cancel, but I really am doing something that's very important. The people that are at CPAC, for the most part, aren't campaigning. I'm campaigning to be president. Had I not gone to Kansas this morning, I would not have done as well as I did. I came in second place. So it was a very important thing. John, go ahead. Afraid. I've taken more questions from reporters than any human being maybe that's ever lived. I mean, give me a break. Right. No, I don't care. No, I was hearing Matt say today, and it was very interesting, but I was hearing Matt say I didn't like the format. I would rather speak for 30 minutes, but I hate when you speak for 10 or 15 minutes and then you're interrupted and then you sit down, I've done that. I've done it 3 times now. I would rather speak, but if somebody wants to ask me in the case of Dana or the case of Sean Hannity or I would love to do that. This was simply a fact that I wanted to campaign. And I'm campaigning. Very few people are campaigning. And I'm very happy I did it. And I met a lot of great people in Kansas. Mr. Phil Ruffin, who's one of the most successful people in the United States, really worked hard in Kansas. And I felt I owed it to him and a lot of people to go there this morning. Yes, sir. Yes. Family? The family of Bob Levinson. Yes. Held a rally, and they started a movement on social media called What About Bob? The family feels, and a lot of others, that the government of Iran knows where he is, or they know and they're not saying anything. So what would you do, sir, if you become president, with Mr. Levinson specifically, and in a scenario where an American disappears in that part of the world under mysterious circumstances? What is the Trump White House policy? Well, we would want to get to the bottom of it. I think our weakness in dealing with Iran has been unprecedented. The fact that we gave them $150 billion and they're a terrorist state, the fact that they spent much of that money buying other than American products. As an example, as you know, they bought 118 massive airplanes, very large airplanes, from Airbus, not from Boeing, not from anything having to do with this country. They spent a lot of their money all throughout Europe, and they spent it in Russia buying missiles. They gave us nothing. I will get down to the bottom of that. I think it's a disgrace. Please give his family my regards. I think it's a disgrace. I think they know where he is one way or the other. I think they absolutely know where he is. And if I'm elected president, I will get to the bottom of it, okay? Go ahead. Well, I have nothing to do with it. You know, when you have 25,000 people in a building, you know, today we had to send away so many thousands of people, we couldn't get them in. When you have that many people, if you have 4 or 5 people or 10 people stand up out of 22,000 that are in this building that I'm speaking to, a very great entertainer said, "Donald, you're the biggest draw in the world without a guitar," which is a sort of an interesting. I won't tell you that was the great Elton John. I will not tell you that. But somebody did make that statement. When you have that many people, you understand, in a room, and you'll have a couple of, not skirmishes, just a couple of protests, really not skirmishes. And we treat them very gently. You know, 10 years ago, they would have been treated differently. Not by me, but that's the way life is. We treat them very, very gently. And yeah, we had a few protesters today, but very few. I mean, if you look at it as a percentage, we had what? 1/100th of 1% of the people that were in the room. So, I watched Bernie Sanders have a protest. He was up at the microphone, and 2 young ladies came up and took the microphone away from him. That will never happen with me. He walked meekly to the back of the room, and I said, "Isn't that pathetic? Isn't that sad?" Yeah, well, I mean, this is the problem with reporters. Look, just so you understand, not me. Somebody else, Marco, brought it up. And do you notice? Okay, now look, you look at what happens to Marco. No. Let me tell you, I didn't bring it up. Excuse me. Somebody else said, Donald Trump has small hands. So I said, small hands? These guys know. I hit a ball 280 yards. Stand up. My club champion. Stand up. Do I hit the ball good? Do I hit it long? Is Trump strong? Huh? So I just simply held up the hands. These are very strong hands, and they're fairly large, actually. But you know what? It was interesting because, and you shouldn't even be bringing this up, to be honest with you, but it was very interesting because the day after he said that, I'm shaking hands with people, and everybody's saying, wow, you have strong hands. You have very big hands. The guy... What happened is Marco just made it up out of nowhere because he's a politician, and politicians lie and they say bad things, and if you don't call him out for it, you don't. Now, I didn't bring it up. He brought it up, but I finished it. And I'll tell you about Marco. It's very interesting. Marco attacked me viciously a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So far, every person that's attacked me has gone down. Look at his numbers tonight. He cannot hold one of those phony rallies where he did well because he did really badly, okay? He's not going to stand up tonight and talk about how well he did in Iowa where he was in 3rd place and he acted like he won. I agree with Ted on that. But I'd love it to be, but they have to. Here's the story. I would love it to be at a high level. I will be the most presidential candidate in history other than Honest Abe Lincoln. He was very tough to beat, okay? You look at Abe Lincoln, he was serious, right? I will be but when I get attacked by these people at a low level, I have to attack back. I can't stand there. Some people say, you're above it, you should stand there. That's not me, I can't do that. And you know what? I'll never do that for our country either. Yes, go ahead. Okay, go ahead. I'm totally denouncing, and any hate group, no good with Donald Trump. Any hate group. I didn't know that, actually, but if you're telling me, I will believe it. I totally denounce, okay? Boeing? Yeah. I will help the party fundraise, yes. I will help the party fundraise. I'm not looking for funds for myself. I'm totally self-funding my campaign, but I will absolutely help the party fundraise. But I don't want any money for myself. Okay, yeah, go ahead. No, I'm not. I think we'll win before the convention. I think we'll win before. You know, I sponsor a lot of sporting events, and the fighters have a great expression. When they go into a city or a town where it's an unfriendly town, but they think they're going to win, they say the only way we guarantee victory is to knock them out. The way I guarantee victory is to get enough delegates so that I don't have to worry about it. And I think, you know, if you think about it like the prize fighters do, that's called a knockout. And, you know, we're on a path to do that. We think we're going to do very well in Florida. We think we're going to do very well. And we got the two big ones. Don't forget, Louisiana and Kentucky tonight were the two big ones. Maine, we did well in Maine, really well in Maine, but it was much smaller than Louisiana, Kentucky. Kansas was also smaller, and we came in second in both. But we won Louisiana and Kentucky. They were the big ones, okay? Go ahead. Yeah. Okay. So the question was asked about waterboarding. And waterboarding is a very, very touchy subject. It was originally asked 2 debates ago to Ted Cruz. And he sort of didn't want any part of that question. And I watched. And I said, wow. And then they looked at me. They said, how do you feel? And I said, I am totally in favor of waterboarding. And if we can, I'd like to do much more than that, okay? Now, just so you understand, we're playing by a different set of rules than ISIS and others, especially in the Middle East. We're playing by a different set of rules. So we have laws and rules and regulations and all of these things, and they have nothing. They chop off people's heads. They drown people in massive steel cages. They drop the cage for 1 hour. They lift it up, and there are 30 dead people. And here we are worried about waterboarding. So here's the story. I will obey the laws, but I will try and get the laws extended. I will try and get the laws broadened, because we should be allowed, because it's very hard to be successful in beating someone when your rules are very soft and their rules are unlimited. They have unlimited, they can do whatever they want to do. And I want to play. Look, we're going to rebuild our military. We're going to knock out ISIS so violently and so fast. They chop off heads. They do things that we haven't seen since medieval times. And we're worried about waterboarding. So here, wait, sit down. Let me just tell you, okay? Excuse me. So I want to stay within the laws, and right now we have the laws. But I want to make those laws stronger so that we can better compete with a vicious group of animals, okay? Okay, yes, go ahead. I think we're going to do great. I think we have a 20-point lead or something like that in Florida. Go ahead. Well, look, Mitt Romney was a failed candidate. He was a terrible candidate. He choked. He choked, absolutely choked as bad as I've ever seen, other than Marco when Chris Christie was grilling him. That was a big choke also. I thought he was going to collapse. I was standing right next to him. I was getting ready to hold him up with these very powerful hands, okay? That was a collapse. That was a choke. But Mitt Romney choked. As a candidate, he choked. And he knows how I feel. And when he was thinking of getting into the race 7 months ago, 8 months ago, I said, you cannot let, it's too important. I said, you cannot let Mitt Romney in this race. He's a choker. And you know, through sports, I can tell you, I have some great sportsmen right here. When you see somebody choke, generally speaking, once a choker, always a choker. Now, Mitt Romney gave that election away. That was an election against a failed president that should have been easily won. Mitt Romney didn't work hard. That last month, he disappeared. And say what you want about President Obama. He was on Jay Leno. He was on David Letterman. He was all over the place. And where was Mitt Romney? We're all looking. We're still looking for him. And if he would have devoted the same energy and time to winning the presidency 4 years ago, as he is now on trying to destroy our party and the unity of our party, he would have won that election. And we wouldn't have had the problems that we have right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all. This has been amazing. It's very exciting. And I look forward to seeing you many times in the near future. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.